This is the Heroic Voice, where I talk to comic book creators, people I've worked with, other interesting people, about the history of comics, superheroes, and the current state of the comic book industry. I also discuss current and upcoming projects, current events, and any other topics my guests might be interested in talking about. So subscribe and hit the like button. Help me grow this channel and promote indie comic book creators, publishers, and other people affiliated with the comic book industry. Your comments are appreciated. Get to it and leave feedback, good, bad, and otherwise. I am your host, Dennis Malinay, writer, publisher of the Heroic Multiverse, where we spotlight good girls, bad girls, super babes, and superheroics in a classic, kind of golden agey style. Grab some snacks and enjoy. This is the Heroic Voice. Hi, welcome to the Heroic Voice. We're back with Henry Martinez, the wonderful artist for League of Champions and several other things that he's working on. He's working on a story for the Huntsman. Excuse me. Among other things, what we want to do today is from the artist perspective, get Henry's take on the various members of the League of Champions, see what he thinks of them, his impression of them, and I will try to restrain myself from correcting him, even if he gets something wrong, unless
Which I
it's really
usually
egregious.
do.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So, since I already mentioned the Huntsman, let's start with him. He is the nominal leader of the League of Champions, although some people would question that. Um,
Sure.
so, tell me what your take is. You've drawn some Huntsman stuff. What do you make of him?
Visually very
That's him.
interesting. Love the outfit, always did. And I like he's a good leader. Like he's definitely a clear leader, but he does allow the other team members to step in and provide their take. And the I guess the sparring is very friendly and lighthearted, in my opinion. I like the interaction between all the characters. They each bring in something new and different, and enjoy the dynamic. And last time we talked about the Enchantress, and I was really surprised that she was such an evil person. You're like, no, no, she's pretty bad. But I always enjoyed her. I enjoyed drawing her. I enjoyed the repartee. So, yeah, I'm learning every issue, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the Huntsman.
All right. Um, let's move on to Icestar then. He's brash, he's debonair, he's handsome, and he shoots ice.
Yeah, which is always cool. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah, pretty much by definition.
yeah, I love the power. But yeah, I don't know if is there a recent change in him because I find him very empathic now and very understanding and
Well,
basically a nice guy.
he's
Where he,
older. He's older. He's got a lot more
oh
experience.
yeah, that makes sense. But also a great character to draw. They're all visually interesting to me, and I really enjoy drawing every single one. I think he's the most fun to draw right now because he does, there's a lot of interaction with everybody. He's very confused because there's so many things going on around him. And he seems genuinely surprised, especially the issue I'm doing now, the Rod of Fairy, where
Rod the Fairy, yeah, yeah.
and he's getting all this different information. He's like, "What?" And he's very confused. I'm enjoying his take too, his
Well,
interaction.
the thing about iStar is, I think I mentioned this before, it's if it's not something that's of immediate concern to him, he doesn't pay attention, right?
Mhm.
So when this new stuff is coming up that's not actually new, that he hasn't really paid attention to before, right?
All
It's,
right.
I mean, it's something of a surprise to him. Wait, should I have known that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's fun.
yeah. The next one I want to talk about is Flair up there, right? Yeah, that's her up there.
Hello, Flair, the
Yeah,
woman of many costumes.
you
I've
know.
I'm always tracking you down for reference and use this one and use that one. This is my favorite so far, but they're all fun, even the older ones, you know?
Yeah, just as an aside, that Icestar costume was designed by Albert Deschênes
Really?
years ago. He sadly passed away about a decade ago. That costume there with the jacket, that was by Derek Gross, who also passed away recently.
That's right.
So clearly there's a curse upon costume designers for the
Oh man,
champion.
yeah, I'm not going to design any costumes for Flair. Thank you.
Okay. Well, what do you make of her? What's your take on Flair?
Personality wise, I admire her spunk, her drive, her independence. She knows what she wants and she grabs it, as has been proven through her many appearances. Costume wise, not shy, which is great. Again, another very strong, independent woman, and I do admire those kinds of characters.
You mentioned the leadership capability of the Huntsman. Flair is kind of the second in command, although not officially so, because where the Huntsman is an excellent strategist, Flair is like your super tactician, right? Right. Give her a situation and enough information, she'll figure out how to deal with it. Um,
Have they worked together with their different ways? Like, let's say one's a strategist, one's a tactician.
well, that's kind of implicit. I don't think we've ever, except for that one story where they went to that military base, Mount Weather.
Mhm.
There was some of that in there because that was a situation where they had some military things to deal with.
Right.
Um, but I said I wasn't going to interrupt, and I just did.
Oh,
So
no, 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 please. It's a dialogue. I will say I drew an issue of Sparkplug a long time ago
that was
where
your first job for us.
I think so, yeah, where they rescued Sparkplug from a base. I That was fun. You
Oh,
know,
that was not,
teamwork.
that was a different one. What story
Oh,
was
you're right. That was not the first one.
rescued her from a base?
Yeah, the
Remember
marksman
any?
was in his office and he's communicating via the computer. I didn't know how to draw him yet, but he had really cool curly hair.
Oh, was that the story where she fought the fire guy and the stone guy?
Yes, that's
Yes,
the one.
right. Yeah, I remember that now. Um, Professor Muerte got in
Yes.
touch with the huntsman and said, "Ha ha, we have captured your new girlfriend." And
That's right.
and the huntsman's going, "Okay, well then that's your problem."
Yes, I remember that. It's
Right.
like, well, you're in trouble now, Muerte. But he's another great guy to draw. Any chances of me getting to draw him sometime soon?
Muerte? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. He's gonna that story that we're talking about that takes place in Argentina
Yes.
with the whipperette.
Right.
That leads right into a Terror Incorporated story that will have Professor Muerte in it.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Great
but
mask. Love drawing him too.
it's a bit down the road. That story is when we get to it. I had a discussion with Steve Perrin, gosh, years ago. Steve has also passed away, dropping like flies.
Jeez.
Um,
Oh,
and he told me how he wanted the Terror Incorporated story to end, right?
oh, great.
How all of the characters associated with Terror Inc. should end up.
Right.
So that's basically the story we're going to do, which was Steve's ideas for bringing the saga of Terror Incorporated to its conclusion.
Oh, that'd be great. A big organization to render and uniforms and things. Oh, that's great. I love that stuff
Yeah,
too.
so people can look forward to that. It's still a ways down the road
Yeah. As
because we've got to
long as
lead
they know it's
into it.
coming.
It's actually part of the Rods of Fairy storyline.
Nice.
The way those villains, those elemental villains, got their powers
Hmm.
was Dr. Demonic and Professor Mawerty tapped into the powers of the rods,
Right.
which have elemental powers, and infused them into their lackeys.
Right.
So it ties in directly to the Rods of Fairy stuff.
Yeah, that's been a blast too.
Yeah.
The elemental powers, the rods, the mythos. Having grown up as a fan of, let's say, Tolkien, I love world building, which you have here, obviously, and magic and all this stuff that is in the Rods of Fairy. I really enjoy. So I do remember drawing one of the panels is almost like Sauron attacking,
It is. We
metal.
reference we
Yeah,
reference Lord of the Rings.
it's wiping them all out. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more I get involved, the bigger the world is for
Is
me.
that's issue 20, I think, which isn't out yet. We're still working on issue 20. Maybe it's in 19, which
Yeah.
also isn't out yet.
Well, yeah, I'm having trouble keeping track of the issue numbers. I'm just drawing and enjoying myself. Thank you so much.
Okay, Black Enchantress. You mentioned her, the babe there in the middle.
Yeah. That little girl who's so mean and evil and manipulative and interdimensional sex. It's just like it's cool stuff. Like distribution was really bad when I was yeah, I had a limited budget. So honestly, I didn't pick up too many issues of Heroic. It was Heroic Publishing's books. They were hard to find. I
Well,
mean,
they're
I
still,
can barely keep track of the Elementals, which I was a fan of, but that came out rarely.
they're still hard to find because we don't
Yeah, that's
distribute through
true.
Diamond. We distribute direct, right? If people want the books, go to the
Right.
website, right? Go to Drive Through Comics for digital stuff. They're all listed on eBay, and you can also get them through our printers store, the Kablam store, IndyPlanet.com. They're available
Yeah.
there as well. And those are the only
Yeah.
ways that you can get them. eBay, our own website, and IndyPlanet.com.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, and when we do Kickstarters, we also offer them there as well. All
Yeah.
right, the newest member of the Champions, the sensational G Girl.
G-Girl, who also likes changing costumes and
Yeah,
she's been fun. For the longest time, I didn't know her costume was an actual G. I'm just drawing this really sexy outfit based on what your Italian artist was drawing. I forget his name. The guy who draws in pencil.
Ulderico Fioretti.
Yes, he's fantastic.
He is. He's
And then
excellent.
I'm drawing and I'm like, oh my God, that's a G, you dummy.
I asked
And I'm very
I asked
aware of it.
Ulderico to be a guest, but he says, no, I do not speak English well.
Oh,
Right? So,
please. It's charming, actually,
yeah.
I
That's his excuse. He just does not want to be interviewed in English because he
that's a,
just doesn't speak it very well, he says. So
I would love to see an interview with the guy. And people love the process too, if he can, and especially today's Columbus Day. Today would have been a great day for him to greet his fans.
Christopher Colombo. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what is your take on the G girl?
Honestly, she's so new to me. I really don't have one yet. Like right now, I just see her as a hot little, uh, hot babe, for lack of a better word.
Well, you have
Enticing and seductive. I don't really know her yet, to be
well, you
honest.
have drawn her.
Oh yeah, visually, sure, but I'm talking about her
You've
personality.
drawn her before she was the G girl.
Oh, that's yeah, right. A lot of change. It's very confusing, but fun.
All right.
And
So you don't know enough about her yet to have any kind of
yeah, to be
thing.
honest.
I'll just say that she's young. She's still figuring out really what being a girl is all about. Um, and she's got some missions. Her mom's been kidnapped. She needs to rescue her mom. She needs to find the jerk who stole her giant powers from her and
Oh
see
yeah.
if she can get them back.
Yeah.
So those are her two missions.
This might sound silly and superficial, but do any of the female not even female, do any of the characters have aspirations of being a pop star or a singer or anything? I was thinking of her being a youngin.
G girl.
Does she wants to be like what's her name? Taylor Swift or something,
Not
right?
exactly that, but this is we're going to get into again in the stuff that we're doing right now.
Right.
Um, Her mom was trying to figure out stuff they could do together, right? And she pulled the drums and the piano out of the garage,
Oh, nice.
right? That's why I specifically told you in that story to draw the drums and piano in the garage because we're going to reference
Oh,
them later,
see, I
right?
missed those little details. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that would have been fun.
right, it's like, hey, we both play the piano,
Right.
we can both sing. I'm mean on the drums, Mom says, and I know you've been trying to figure out how the saxophone works, right? So,
I'm good
like,
looking.
maybe we could do this. Like, maybe we could be like Karen and Richard Carpenter, right?
Right.
And so anyway, that's going to be a story point.
Oh,
And
that's great.
uh,
One of the things I always loved about the classic era of comics, let's say the 80s, I don't want to name another team, a competitive team, but I
Yeah.
like the quiet moments when the team would go out into the city and just hang out or go to the mall, play piano or like jam in a garage.
Yeah.
Those are important moments to me as a fan growing up. It's not all fisticuffs, you know?
Oh yeah. I'm not a fan of fisticuffs. Um, if the story requires it, absolutely. Right. But
Sure. Doesn't have to all the time though, but yeah.
no well, some gratuitous stuff because fans like fisticuffs too. But
Well, yeah, we need a little, right?
all right. So those are the five that are contained here on this cover.
Yeah.
Been my finger. That's the regular cover for our League of Champions source book. And we also have the alternate cover that you did
Flip.
with another five members of the League of Champions
Oh
on
man, I love those guys too. Damn it.
Nightwind, Tigress, Psyche, Sparkplug, and Icicle.
Yeah.
All right.
I enjoyed drawing Tigress. Just the feral nature, the claws, the eye, all of that.
You want to talk about her first then?
Sure. Just again, her personality seems to reflect her the visual, feral in nature, very passionate.
Well,
And again, fun
she's a
costume to
spoiled
draw.
rich girl who's used to getting her own way, right?
See, I haven't picked up on that yet.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
haven't read the Derek Gross stories.
That's true. Yeah.
And Dick Giordano was the other artist on the early stories, and I think we pretty well defined the character, and it's easy enough to take that characterization over into the Champions book
Yeah.
when she does appear. She's
That
not the
first,
first Tigress by any means, right? She's the latest in a long line of cat girls,
Mhm.
but she genuinely wants to be a superhero. So, you
It's
know,
got a good heart. Yeah.
yeah, she does. She lives in Los Angeles, so it's difficult for her to be a regular member, but she's a reserve member and she's on call when she's needed. And she will be appearing again in this Rods of Fairy storyline
Nice.
because Icestar needs to go down to Los Angeles to get her help in acquiring one of those rods from
Great.
none other than the invincible Thugmaster.
Dun dun
Yeah.
dun. That's great.
And there's a
And
nice twist in that. You'll see it when the story gets to you.
yeah. And Rose throws me off because she's always seems to be wearing a different costume.
She does. I mean, just like Flair, she wears different things.
Yeah.
But her superhero name, which she finally adopted, is Psyche,
All
right?
right.
To honor her grandmother, right, who was Psyche during World War II. And there's a backstory there, right? Her grandmother was assigned by Winston Churchill to infiltrate the Nazis, right? So during most of the war, the Vanguard of Freedom thought that Psyche was a bad guy, right? Because
Oh
she
wow.
was really good at it.
Yeah.
But somehow, even though they pretty regularly lost to her, they never
Well,
were hurt by her.
yeah.
So,
Well, true hero always comes back from a loss.
yeah.
So
So
that's
anyway, what's your take on Rose or Psyche? She is married to the Huntsman, right?
yeah. And I think the thing that stood out most to me is how she was a she was a detective, right? She would go out there
Yes.
with her trench coat and her hat. I like that aspect of it. I get to do I would think a lot of film noir type stuff. I do like mysteries and stories like that. So I would like to do more in depth, like a single issue or a single story with her.
Yeah, sure.
If that
You
is
drew
that
the Black
on.
Enchantress in her trench coat and hat, which
Yeah, that was fun. It's like going off
she's
on an adventure, you know.
Psyche's partner. They're the Witch Girls Incorporated.
Yes,
They
I
both
have a
do
few wishes
detective
of that,
work.
thanks to you. Are they do they have a long history together?
They do. They went to the same finishing school in New Orleans, right? They've known each
Oh,
other for a very long time.
right.
Um, the Black Enchantress's nickname is Rosie, which Rose hates, which is why she keeps calling her that.
Nice.
Yeah.
As friends do. Yeah,
Uh,
for each other.
okay. Let's talk about Nightwind, because that'll lead us into the villain that you say is one of your favorites.
Yeah, Nightwind is a mystery to me
Uh,
with the the well when he's bleeding or when he was attacked, it was different color blood, correct? Wasn't it greenish or something?
no, he's human.
What was I thinking? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I drew him being rescued and gushing blood, and everyone's worried for his life. Is there a romantic thing between him and someone in their group? Someone was very
Yeah,
concerned.
Andrea has a crush on him.
Andrea has. Okay. Damn, who doesn't Andrea have a crush on? But
Well, pretty much nobody else. Andrea actually prefers girls, uh, but for some reason she's taken a liking to Nightwind. Um, you
she
know,
seemed very upset when he was injured. But yeah.
yeah. But
Another one that's fun to draw, and I love that warehouse sequence where he comes crashing through the window.
League
I,
of Champions number 13 for those of you want to
I
get it.
And you're good. And I don't like again when I do draw fisticuffs, I want it to look not crazy powerful, like nice and subtle, which he did. He's like blocking and kicking and tripping. And I kept that in mind when I was drawing the little combat scene in the warehouse. That I enjoyed doing quite a bit too.
Yeah. The villain he was fighting, you said you like that villain.
Yeah, visually,
Moonwraith.
Moonwraith. Is he the opposite of are they like two sides of the same coin?
Not exactly, no. There's backstory, we'll get to that. There's an origin of Moonwraith coming up that I've written, but I don't think I've sent you yet. Moonwraith
Okay.
actually used to be a member of the League of Champions. He used a different name.
Interesting. Right.
And as far as I know, nobody in the League of Champions realizes that Moonwraith was in fact the Jade Hornet back in the day.
Right.
Um,
Nice name.
so he knows a lot about the League of Champions. In particular, he knows a lot about Nightwind.
Right.
There's a story there. He has a grudge against Nightwind because he thinks that Nightwind betrayed Lady Arcane. She was expelled from the champions because she killed someone when she didn't have to,
Mm.
which violates a basic rule. I mean, it's okay. It's not okay, but if you have to kill somebody, right? You can do that. But she did it just gratuitously because he was evil and he needed to be killed, right?
Right.
And that's what got her expelled.
Oh, okay. Well, that
And
makes sense.
Nightwind gave testimony, and the Jade Hornet thought that Nightwind should have covered for Lady Arcane.
Mm.
So that's the origin of the grudge that
Oh,
Moon
great.
has against Nightwind.
Good backstory. We got some stuff to work with. Excellent.
Yeah. Well, the more you know, right, the more little details you can put in.
Sure. The more
So
important the characters become to you, you know.
let's talk about the kid sisters then. Let's start with Sparkplug. What do you make of Sparks?
Oh, typical kid sister, annoying, right? Wants to prove herself constantly to her that she's better or as good as her older sister.
Who
Uh,
is
she was the first character I drew for you and your company. So that
For
was a
those who
lot.
don't know, Sparkplug is Flair's little sister.
What did I say? Sorry.
Sparkplug is Flair's little sister.
Yes, and what did I mix up? I'm
We
sorry.
didn't mix anything up. We just hadn't said that.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you're saying okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was I really enjoyed that story. Lou is a fantastic author. He's just
Yeah, he was. And Lou has passed away too.
yeah,
They're both alive.
unfortunately. The curse. But it was such depth, such depth of story, history, background. I got to draw Nazis. It was scary and terrifying. Good stuff.
Yeah, and that also ties in with the sort of indirectly, right? Because that whole thing had to do with Demon and Eric Shadle,
Yes.
right? And how Eric had abused their brother Thomas, right? And basically driven him, just mad.
Yeah.
Thomas was just out of his mind and killing people willy-nilly. And that's what Sparkplug had to stop.
Yeah.
People should read that. That's in the Sparkplug miniseries, 3 issues, 1 through 3. And it's an excellent story. I think it's one of the best stories Lou ever wrote.
A lot of work in there, a lot of background, and open for more stories. It's unfortunate that we didn't do any more
Yeah.
after that. Like I expected a sequel and like some side things,
Well, there is a sequel, but it's only in the idea stage. I did discuss it with Lou at one point, so I kind of know what he wanted to do, and it's going to focus on Sparkplug and her boyfriend in Germany, Willie, right? What they do,
Yeah.
when they're off trying to figure out whether or not they are actually compatible with each other.
Oh, that's
They
nice.
turn out not to be, right? For various reasons, but still there's a story in there.
Yeah.
And it does involve Eric Shadle directly, right? So it's a follow-up thematically in a follow-up on that
Oh,
miniseries.
great.
Yeah. But again, I don't know how long it's to be before we get there.
Right.
Icicle, Icestar's kid sister.
You know, not much there. Like I don't really.
You haven't done much
Stacey-
with her.
Huh?
You haven't
So
done much with her.
that's true. Visually, yeah, but no, you're right. She's in the been in the background. Again the kid sister. So I don't have much of an impression of her. It's
She has
just
her own TV show.
this is true. Who did I've been friends with is it Francesco? There's an artist that you used.
Francesco Gabino.
I don't know. No. And
Oh,
he's
the Chrissy Claus story.
yes, Chrissy Claus, and
Yeah,
he
I
did a
know
few
who you're talking
covers.
about.
And we were in touch, but I was like, should I just say, hey, I'm working on the character you drew? Because he does great women, as you know.
Oh,
Just
yes, he does. And when we couldn't continue, he was actually working on a Britannia story, oh
wow.
gosh, 20 years ago now. And
Yeah.
we just had
Wow.
to, we couldn't continue with it. He, did like 5 or 6 pages of it, and then we had to stop, and we've never got back together again. I should see about that because, as you
Yeah,
say, he's a wonderful artist.
he is.
That Chrissy Claus story he did was 9 pages of just wonderful stuff.
It was. And
Yeah.
it's people think women are easy to draw. They're not. If you they have to look right, not just
So,
like, muscle bound, hard plastic surgery boob women. He draws real women, which I like.
yeah, the Chrissy Claus character in the Champions universe is a fictional character. Right? We've done stories about her. She was in the Champions universe a creation of Icicle. And Icicle's TV show is The Adventures of Chrissy Claus, in
Oh,
which
wow.
she plays Chrissy Claus.
Right. Oh, that's
Uh,
fantastic. I did not know that.
yeah, Icicle, that's why she was wearing the Chrissy Claus outfit in the
Yeah.
story that you drew in League of Champions 13.
I didn't realize she was a creation, like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
of Icicle.
Icicle's fertile imagination.
Yeah.
Right?
She's got a
My
good
name is Chrissy, and if I were Santa Claus's granddaughter, I'd be Chrissy Claus.
one.
What would I do?
I
Yeah.
did when I drew the panel of her on the set, the director's all upset, and I was thinking Steven Spielberg immediately. It doesn't really look like him, but that, just like this annoying little guy who's angry and upset. Oh, that was yeah, I like that stuff too. The little background stuff, like I mentioned, little details. Drawing the
And
PD in the back.
yeah, Icicle's a mommy, right? But
Yep, I saw that.
yeah, it's an adopted daughter, right? But it's actually Honey Grayson is the daughter of Icestar and Madam Sin. And when Madam Sin went away, right? Yeah, Icicle adopted the little girl. So, that's there
How
too.
is she as a mom? I haven't seen much interaction.
Well, I stars of two minds on that. He thinks she cuts Honey a little bit too much slack, right? But otherwise, I start thinks she's doing a pretty good job. Right? There's a sequence again, part of the Rods of Fury storyline, where Honey is at school in the um, lab, the science lab at school, building a Kirby contraption, right?
Nice.
Which you'll get to draw.
Yes.
And what she's trying to figure out is how to track people who move dimensionally so that she can help Flare if those stupid purple gorillas ever show up again and bother her.
Oh man.
And she
Really?
accidentally takes down the entire Los Angeles power grid,
Excellent. Looking
which is
forward to that
which
one.
is one of the, Christine, you kind of cut Honey too much slack. She shouldn't be doing things like this. All right, now we've got to deal with Homeland Security.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. That's
yeah.
fun.
So anyway, that story sequence is coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, now there are also champions who were not in these two source books because we didn't have room for them. We mentioned the G Girl's mom, right? The Nemesis Girl, whom you've drawn a little bit of. Do you have a take on her?
Not right now. And I want to be honest. If I do, I will let you know. But I do not have a take on Nemesis Girl at the moment.
Okay, she's big, she's strong, she's a
Oh,
redhead.
okay. Besides the visual.
Yeah,
Uh,
and she
uh,
wears Flair's mother's armor, right? She uses
yeah.
that armor and that sword as the Nemesis Girl. Let's talk a little bit about Giant. Yeah.
Giant I've always enjoyed from day one. Because well the idea, the fantasy of a child becoming a superhero and then dealing with those what that means. It's tough for a kid.
Yeah.
But
Dealing with his mom.
yeah,
That's
boy.
tough for a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Mom's a tough one. I don't know how I'd handle that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, right? I just
Yeah.
figured out that you're a giant.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
And just the idea of growing so quickly and accidentally smashing his head through a ceiling, that kind of stuff is always fun. Well, I
Okay.
haven't drawn that yet. He hasn't crashed through any buildings or anything. Just right now, it's more like the awkward feelings, that he wants to kiss somebody, but it's too much.
Oh, there's
Like
that
when they were
story.
when they were in Kansas, during the dinosaurs issue.
Yeah, the crossover with the Reiki Warriors, Derek Gross's character.
Yeah, he was very he was a bit awkward, and he was trying to deal with all these different people and different emotions, and uh, people get annoyed at him, but he's a kid. What are you gonna do?
Little kid playing at being grown up,
Yeah,
and most of the other people didn't realize that he was a little kid.
and,
Why is he acting like this?
and beating up dinosaurs, that's the best.
Yeah. Okay, who else? We're kind of coming up to the end of this. I'm pretty sure there's someone else. Let me take a quick look here.
Well, I
Um,
don't I don't know about League of Champions, but I'll tell you, I've always enjoyed Foxbat. He's
oh, the
just
Flying Fox. Yeah.
the flying
Talk about
fox,
him?
just fun and wacky and crazy. And is he's got a good heart, but and then he's a raving a-hole. He's a villain, and he's got the hots for anything with boobs. But the costume, the attitude, the cockiness, love it, love it, love it, love it, love
And
it.
he has worked with the League of Champions, so he's kind
Yeah,
of sort of
it's
he considers himself to be the official champions tester, right? Whenever
right.
there's a new member joining the team, the Flying Fox will go out of his way to put him to the
Sure.
test.
I wonder if there's potential to get him on the team at some point.
Maybe it could be. Lady Arcane, I mentioned her. I don't think you've ever drawn her, so you may not have any kind of opinion at all. She's,
No, I don't think
Dr.
so.
Arcane's granddaughter, Black
Just the
Enchantress.
name.
Yeah. What about Dr. Arcane? You've done something with him, even though he's not officially a member of the team. He does work with
Yeah.
him.
I've loved him because I mean, just as a geeky fanboy, to me he's like the Professor X, because the wheelchair and the older years and the wisdom, and he guides them, but then lets him do his thing. Uh,
Okay.
Visually, I like him. Simple costume, great, a lot of depth to his background.
Well, he's been around, gosh, for nearly 100 years now.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, another one I enjoy drawing. They're all very good, fun characters to draw.
One more character who is, again, not officially a member of the team, but is working with them in that Rods of Fairy storyline, Fantastic Girl,
Fantastic Girl.
the
I'm
black
drawing a
chick,
blank.
the black,
Oh yeah, the new one with
yeah,
the crazy hair though.
yeah.
That insanely curly hair. Oh, I think I don't know her yet. I know she's a kid. Again, like Giant, right? She's a
Yeah,
child.
same age as Giant. Yeah.
Yeah, and then acting like a grown up in a grown up body. Uh, I see a lot of potential there. She's a lot of fun. She's got the spunky attitude. I look forward to seeing what she develops into.
Yeah, there
Personality.
are Fantastic Girl stories that have appeared in issues of Heroic Spotlight. If
Oh,
anyone's interested in those, they can certainly go look her up there. She's got a backstory, right? She's Flair's boyfriend's little sister.
where's boyfriend? Okay, got
Yeah,
it. What a tangled web we weave.
yeah.
But yeah,
So,
she's cool. I like her. So
all
far.
right.
That
Thank
hair
you,
is crazy
Henry.
to draw, but it's fun. Sorry.
Let's do social media again for people. Where can people follow you, and talk to you and send you messages?
Sure. It's hard to get my original name out there because it's all taken. But I guess the best place to start is Facebook. Just type Henry Martinez, Facebook, and then all my links are there. You can go from there. Oh, and my website, that's pretty easy. It's Dragon Brush Studio, singular, .com. My links are there also and some samples.
Yes.
So yeah, I got to do a better job of keeping things simple, but it's hard. I can't do Henry Martinez on Instagram because it's taken. So it's my studio name, Dragon Brush underscore studio. Facebook's the safest place to start. And I finally have a good banner and print, so I'm out there. I'm gonna have some heroic stuff on the second banner because right now it's the Marvel stuff because that's what
Yeah.
people go to. Prints, I have two prints already. I am gonna do a heroic print because people like superheroes.
All right.
So there'll be a lot of stuff to share with people soon.
All right. And as far as upcoming projects go, people keep an eye out for on the Heroic Publishing website, right?
Yep.
HeroicMultiverse.com. You've got some League of Champions material coming up, the Rods of Fairy storyline in particular. You've
Yeah.
got that Origin of Target Girl story, which will be in the
Yep.
ninth issue
Working
of
on that.
Huntsman, right? The very first appearance of a female version of the Huntsman, quite
Yeah.
literally a female version of the
That's
Huntsman.
fun. So I also want people to know, I mean, it sounds like I am doing, in my opinion, the best work of my life with you.
I agree that it's wonderful work. It is.
It's just a lot of I think I mentioned this last time. A lot of artists they find their niche, their style, and they just don't grow. And I'm always learning. I'm always buying books. I'm studying. I print out close-ups of technique. Like I love Barry Windsor Smith. So
Mhm.
I blow up his like just a face just to see how he. So I'm always adding that. And fortunately with you, we have a little time. It's not like a monthly, I couldn't do this with, the big two, obviously. They're
Deadlines.
shortcuts.
And in Champions number 68, right, we've got that Whipperette story that takes place in Argentina.
Yes. Looking
Um,
forward to that.
and in Champions number 69, we're going to be doing some Hellfire Apocrypha stories, all the stuff that you didn't see in the original Champions miniseries, the
Looking
really
forward.
bad things that the evil demon master did to various members of the Champions that no, we don't want to tell anybody about that.
Yeah.
Right? So,
He's another great character to draw.
yeah.
Love the Demon Master. It's very cool.
All right, Henry, thank you. I want to ask
Thank you.
everybody who hasn't already done it to subscribe to this channel. Definitely like it. We need likes, and please, by all
Art.
means, share it with your friends because there are a lot of interviews that we've done that are great. There are a lot of great interviews coming up. We'll have Henry back again at some point, although
Yes.
I don't want to get it too tight. You know,
Yeah. Don't want you guys to get annoyed. Oh, this guy again? Come on.
right?
Okay.
Any last thoughts?
No, like before, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the opportunity to draw such fantastic characters. We need this universe to grow. It's fun. There's a lot of richness, depth there. Just got to get out there and share, like you said. Share, people. Come on.
Okay, thank you, Henry. Good night.
Thanks. You have a good night. Bye. Bye, everybody.